In the headlines, many feared dead as Explosion Rocks Zamfara Highway. Reactions trail U.S. airstrikes on Sokoto communities. Rising cost of living dampens Christmas celebrations in Lagos. On the foreign scene, remains of Libyan army chief killed in crash to return home. Hello and welcome to the news update on Trust TV. I am Mariam Idris. An unspecified number of travelers have been killed following a suspected bomb explosion along the Repatriation of Libyan road in Maru, local government area of Zamfara State. The Zamfara State Police Command confirmed the incident on Saturday, saying the explosion occurred earlier in the afternoon. Police Public Relations Officer Yazid Abubakar said details surrounding the blast were still sketchy, noting that investigations are ongoing. While official figures are yet to be released, residents in the area suspect the explosive device may have been planted by bandits who have continued to carry out attacks across the state. Videos circulating on social media show travelers fleeing the scene in panic moments after the explosion. Authorities say further updates will be provided as more information becomes available. Now, operatives of the Force Intelligence Department have arrested 2 suspected bandits linked to violent crimes across Katsina, Zamfara, Niger, and Kwara State. The suspects were apprehended during a high-stakes covert operation in Kwara State, according to the Force spokesman Benjamin Hundeyin. One of the suspects has been identified as Abubakar Usman, popularly known as Asidi, who was seen in a viral video flaunting arms and large sums of money, while the second suspect is Shehu Muhammadu, also known as Gide. Authorities recovered a brand new Honda Ace 125 motorcycle, 500,000 naira in cash, and an AK-47 rifle with 20 rounds of live ammunition. The force has called on the public to provide timely and credible information to support ongoing security operations. And now the Katsina State Governor and Chairman of the Northwest Governors Forum, the Kwara, has expressed deep sorrow over the recent mosque attack in Borno State. Governor Radda described the assault as cruel, senseless, and condemnable, noting that it claims lives and left others injured, leaving families and communities in mourning. He stressed that places of worship must remain sanctuaries of peace and called on security agencies to intensify operations to protect citizens and prevent further attacks. Governor Radda urged enhanced intelligence gathering and collaboration to ensure those responsible are brought to justice, while appealing to Nigerians to remain united and vigilant against terrorism. He reaffirmed the commitment of northern governors to work closely with the federal government to strengthen security and safeguard lives and property across the region. The governor extended condolences to Governor Babagana Zulum, the government and people of Borno State, and the families of the victims. Now, former Senate leader, Senator Ali Ndume, has urged the federal government to extend its joint military operations with the United States to Nigeria's northeast region. Ndume made the call on a Saturday while commending recent airstrike carried out against ISWAP terrorist cells in Tangaza local government area of Sokoto State. The former chairman of the Senate Committee on Army said expanding the joint operations would significantly weaken Boko Haram and ISWAP fighters still operating in the northeast. He also praised President Bola Tinubu for allocating what he described as the highest budgetary provision to the defense sector in the proposed 2026 budget, while stressing the need for transparency and accountability in the use of the funds. Reacting to the recent suicide bomb attack on a mosque in Gomburu, Maiduguri, Ndume expressed sympathy with victims and their families as renewed global attention focuses on Nigeria's security challenges. And now the federal government has confirmed that the recent precision airstrikes against Islamic State ISIS terrorist elements in Sokoto State were approved by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. In a statement issued on Friday night, The Minister of Information and National Orientation, Muhammad Idris, said the operation was carried out in close coordination with the United States government. According to him, the airstrikes targeted two major ISIS enclaves within the Bauni Forest axis of Tangaza local government area. Intelligence report indicated that the location served as an assembly and staging ground for foreign ISIS fighters infiltrating Nigeria from the Sahel region in collaboration with local affiliates. The minister said the terrorists were planning large-scale attacks within the country.
Good evening, gentlemen of the press. The federal government of Nigeria, in close coordination with the government of the United States of America, has successfully conducted precision strike operations against two major Islamic State ISIS terrorist enclaves located within the Bauni axis of Tangaza local government area of Sokoto State. Intelligence confirmed that these locations were being used as assembly and staging grounds by foreign ISIS elements infiltrating Nigeria from the Sahel region in collaboration with local affiliates to plan and execute large-scale terrorist attacks within Nigerian territory. The precision strike operations were executed between 12 midnight and 1:30 a.m. on Friday, December 26, 2025, following explicit approval by the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, His Excellency President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR. The operation was carried out under established command and control structures with the full involvement of the armed forces of Nigeria under the supervision of the Honorable Ministers of Defense and Foreign Affairs, as well as the Chief of Defense Staff.
The governor of Gombe State, Muhammad Yahaya, has expressed deep sorrow over a tragic motor accident that claimed the lives of 7 people from Lawanti community in Akko local government area of the state. The victims were reportedly traveling to Maiduguri, Borno State, to attend a wedding ceremony when the accident occurred. And a statement signed by his Director General of Press Affairs, Ismail Misili, Governor Yahaya described the incident as a devastating loss to the families, the Lawanti community and the state as a whole. The governor commiserated with families who lost loved ones, including the district head of Jalingo, Bello Hassan Babangida, and others in the community. He prayed for the forgiveness of the deceased and wished them Al-Jannah to Firdaus, while urging residents to remain strong in the face of this tragic loss. And now 1 person has died and 4 others sustained injuries in a fatal road accident at Nofia Axis near Enugu Agidi Junction along the Oka-Onitsha Expressway in Anambra State. The Federal Road Safety Corps, FRSC, confirmed that 5 people, 2 male adults, 2 female adults, and 1 female child were involved in the crash. The incident, which involved a Mercedes-Benz 4MATIC SUV, reportedly resulted from suspected speed violation, tire burst, and loss of vehicle control. The injured were taken to the hospital, while the deceased was deposited in a nearby morgue and the vehicle towed to Ogbunuiki police station. FRSC Anambra Sector Commander Bridget Asekwano expressed condolences to the bereaved family and urged motorists to obey traffic rules, maintain their vehicles, and drive safely to prevent similar tragedies. This is the news update on Trust TV. Coming up after the break. Rising cost of living dampens Christmas celebrations in Lagos. More news when we return. Just stay with us. Welcome back. If you're just joining us, you're watching the news update on Trust TV. Now let's take a recap of our major stories again. Many feared dead as Explosion Rocks Zamfara Highway, and reactions trace as U.S. airstrikes on Sokoto community. And moving on to more stories. The African Democratic Congress ADC Youth Wing has issued a 7-day ultimatum to the federal government over the 2025 tax laws recently signed by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. The group says the laws contain controversial and unconstitutional provisions and has warned that failure to address its concerns could lead to nationwide protests and taxpayer strike. Speaking at a press conference in Kano, ADC National Youth Leader Balarabe Rufai accused the federal government and the National Assembly of imposing what he described as an unfair tax regime that ignores the economic realities of young Nigerians. He alleged that some provisions of the law, including a requirement for taxpayers to deposit 20% of disputed assessment before appeal and powers allegedly granted to tax officers to make arrests, were inserted without proper legislative approval. The group also raised concerns over a tax cooperation agreement between Nigeria and France, warning of possible risk to national data security. The ADC Youth Wing has given the federal government until January 3rd, 2026 to address its demand or face nationwide resistance. Now, the Kebbi State Police Command has arrested 5 suspected kidnappers and recovered 10 locally fabricated firearms in separate operations across the state. The suspects, Aliyu Muhammad Sambawa, Salihu Haruna, Suleiman Isa, Dan Isa Yakubu, and Ilya Bano, were arrested in Kalgo and Danko Wasagu local government areas. Police spokesperson SP Bashir Usman said some of the suspects were unable to explain how they came into possession of the weapons recovered from them. In Danko Wasagu, Ilya Bano was arrested for allegedly threatening to kidnap a village head and another resident unless a ransom of 500,000 naira was paid. He reportedly confessed and named an accomplice who is still at large. Another suspect, Dan Isa Yakubu, was also arrested for allegedly demanding 1 million naira under threat of kidnapping. The Commissioner of Police, Bello Sani, said the arrest followed sustained patrols and actionable intelligence, adding that investigations are ongoing. Now, as Nigerians marked the festive season, many say celebrations were dampened by the country's rising cost of living, with high food prices and transportation fares placing holiday, travel and family gathering out of reach for many. The report.
For Ebuka, the economic strain was impossible to ignore. He says the soaring cost of food and basic household items made the festive period difficult for workers and families. According to him, even large sums of money no longer go far in local markets.
The economy is too high because the cost of living is too high, because if you go out with like 20 or 30 times to go and buy things in the market, you cannot even boost off some things, items that you need to buy. But what I'm trying to let government know that at least they should minimize in terms of economy, in terms of food stuff, and also transportation, because this December a lot of people did not travel because of transportation. Everything, like people are traveling to East now. Imagine if you want to travel now, you pay like 53k, 73k. You want to travel, go back to your village. It's not proper. Look at the government for Abia State, what they are doing. Their governor bring out buses for them to travel from here to Lagos, free buses. But yeah, I don't know what the government of Lagos is doing. So we are urging for the call of the government for them to help us to put things in order. You understand? Because poor masses there, we have a lot of poor masses here in Nigeria, and especially in Lagos, the population are getting higher.
Speaking during a brief street interview, Moses Ajayi shared similar concerns, noting that the worsening economic situation significantly affected how families celebrated Christmas this year.
Christmas celebrations, we really get it very difficult because of the situation of the country, insecurity and hardship. People are suffering about it. So it's only God, by the grace, we celebrate the Christmas, and we pray, let the situation of the country, let this insecurity be over. Let the government, the officials, think about the masses, because masses are really suffering. They are not getting things easy. And all the killings end up at the masses. So our leaders, let them be a leader, a true leader, not just the name. If they are leaders, at least the masses will get things the way it is. there is the failure of the leadership. That's why people are facing these difficulties, killings and crying. People are getting things very difficult.
Despite the challenges, some Nigerians remain hopeful. Looking ahead to the new year, Olulade expressed optimism that conditions would improve, both in terms of personal finances and the nation's economy.
Better than this year, like, should be much better, and things should be better than this year, because this year is so, things are so expensive and cost of living is so high, and there's no money. We have to manage. So next year we should not manage. You should be in money. We should have a lot of money to celebrate Christmas.
As the festive season draws to a close, many Nigerians say the celebrations reflected the country's broader economic realities. While hardship defined the holidays for many, citizens continue to hold on to hope that the new year will bring relief and renewed opportunities.
Residents of Jos, the Plateau State capital, have expressed mixed reactions to recent airstrikes carried out by the United States in communities in Tangaza and Ofa local government areas of Sokoto and Kwara states. While some see the operation as necessary to curb terrorism, others criticize it, claiming that civilian areas were affected with little impact on the intended targets. Adu Musa reports.
The United States and the Nigerian government have stated that the airstrikes were intended to eliminate members of the dreaded ISIS who have been terrorizing communities in the affected states. However, opinions on the operation remain divided. While some residents welcome the interventions as a necessary step to restore security, others oppose it, questioning the involvement of a foreign military on Nigerian oil.
What America did was on track, given the fact that the issue has persisted, all hands have been on deck, all effort has been made to persuade, to assuage, and to even calm nerves, so that whatever is the reason why this country is being terrorized can be brought to the table, so that it can be discussed and be resolved amicably. And since it did not work the way it ought to be, and we have to go this route. Anything Nigeria can do to stop banditry, terrorism, and all this thing, it's a welcome development, whereby the Nigerian government cannot handle the situation. If they decide to seek foreign assistance, it's welcome. So far, we stop all these problems in the country, clean and all this stealing, assaulting, any kind of atrocity. So there's nothing we can do, whereby the government of this country cannot able to handle it.
It's a welcome development because our military, they are weak in tackling this. That's why we need the foreign assistant, in which they did this with the assistant of Nigerian government.
I'm not happy to hear it, because Nigeria is a sovereignty of itself, and if Nigeria will allow an outsider to come into her territory and strike on so-called ISIS that have been existing for a very long time, and you see, Nigeria, I'm going to use that language, or let me borrow what Trump said some weeks ago or last month. We are a shameful nation, to be sincere. If such things will happen in Nigeria at the 21st century, it's an embarrassment, because Nigeria have all it takes to finish these so-called terrorists.
I'm not happy with the development. There is no reason for the US to launch any airstrike in Nigeria. It is our government that is supposed to handle the matter. Terrorists should not be stronger than our government, which has the responsibility to protect us. Allowing a foreign country to intervene shows government failure. How can we be sure the US intervention?
Away from Nigeria, the remains of Libya's chief of staff, General Muhammad al-Haddad and his advisors, who died in a plane crash near Ankara, are set to be repatriated on Saturday, the Turkish Defense Ministry has announced. The Falcon 50 jet crashed less than 40 minutes after takeoff on Tuesday, killing al-Haddad, 4 advisors and 3 crew members, including 2 French nationals. Turkish Defense Minister Yasser Gula presided over a ceremony at Murted Air Base, where the plane's black box was recovered. Authorities cited an electrical failure, but a full investigation will be conducted by a neutral country, possibly Germany. The plane was chartered from Malta-based Harmony Jets, which maintains its fleet in France. In a rare show of unity, Libya's rival governments in Tripoli and Benghazi have declared 3 days of national mourning as the country continues to struggle with political divisions since the fall of Muammar Gaddafi in 2011. And in sport, the Confederation of African Football, CAF, has dismissed rumors that it has sanctioned free entry for fans at the 2025 Africa Cup of Nations. There were reports that CAF, in conjunction with the local organizing committee, LOC, has ordered free entry for fans due to low turnout at different stadia. Only the games involving the host have witnessed large turnouts. CAF said all tickets for the games will continue to be sold until the end of the competition. Action will continue in the competition on Saturday with 4 matches. The Super Eagles will be in action against the Carthage Eagles of Tunisia. And with that, we have come to the end of the news update on Trust TV. Do not forget to follow us across all our social media platforms and also join our YouTube live stream for more news. I am Maria Midris. Thank you for watching.